can see it actually developing a pretty big cult audience because it's a scary movie to watch at home. This is a movie where, like, if you watch by yourself in the dark, you will kind of get creeped out thinking someone's in there with you. Drive-By Movies here with another episode of
Fresh Releases.
My name is James.
My name is Blaise.
And this week we are checking out Universal and Blumhouse's The Invisible Man, directed by Leigh Whannell. It's starring Elizabeth Moss and Oliver Jackson Cohen.
Please listen to me.
You're saying the person trying to kill you is in the room right now, but we can't see him?
He's listening.
Where are you?
Where are you? Show yourself! Come on! Do it!
There you are.
So this is a new look at the dark universe. This was Universal's idea to make all these movies that are based on the original, Werewolf, Dracula, Invisible Man.
Excuse you, Wolfman.
Or Wolfman, sorry.
There's a lot of mans in this universe.
Yeah.
Gillman, Wolfman, Invisible
They're superheroes,
Man.
right? Superman?
Yeah.
So this is a new take on it. This is the Blumhouse version. Blumhouse is notorious for making these films on the cheap, and they have a lot of films on Hulu. And they've made, Happy Death Day, many films that have garnered them attention, but also garnered them, cash flow, steady cash flow, and also acclaim kind of. Some of the films have acclaim, some not so much, but they are like trying and attempting to be a household name.
I think I know what you're getting into when it's a Blumhouse film. I mean, at this point, they are getting to the point where they're just being advertised. Blumhouse presents Truth or Dare, or Blumhouse's Happy Death Day and stuff. So, they're like, it's almost like kind of comedic in a way at times, I feel like, but they're not using it, I feel like, with Invisible Man. And what I'm really excited with this movie is it's not advertised as dark universe or something. We know it as like, oh, this is a remake of, the original Invisible Man with Claude Rains is in it. He plays Invisible Man. Claude Rains is most famous for Casablanca, if you don't know. And also he's in The Wolfman too. So he's a very monster-verse guy. But with this, though, it's a whole different take on the Invisible Man. I thought interesting take, too. I mean, it's very valid to, I think, what's happened over the past 2 years with the Me Too movement. I know that everyone's been bringing that up. But it was like, I thought Leigh Whannell was a perfect choice for this after what he did with Upgrade. And I thought it was built similar to that in terms of narrative, where it's a lot of slow build-up and then like it escalates like crazy. Just downfall was the trailer didn't do this movie justice by showing way too much, though. I kind of already, I never saw the trailer for Upgrade. You kind of just talked me into seeing it, and we knew it was getting good reviews, and I was like, yeah, I'm down. And that was one of the best experiences ever. And I feel like this would have been a really great experience also if I had never seen the trailer.
Yeah. So do you think that the trailer detracted from your initial viewing and like your enjoyment of this film?
Not at all. I definitely still enjoyed the movie a lot. It's what I wanted it to be, and I'm glad that this is the direction the Universal Monster Movies is taking. This is what it should have been. I don't like, who would have thought that like just something so simple, low budget, like, your average horror film would make a decent horror film for all these classic ones. You don't have to go crazy big budget. As much as I love the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie, like that's still a weird way to take that genre into.
It's very 90s though. I mean, we've talked about it on our shows about like how we, have nostalgia for that movie. We do enjoy it, but it is kind of like now in this day and age, that's not really the type of movie that we would want. And they definitely did try and do that recently with The Mummy. I didn't see it, but I know you had seen that.
Yeah.
And they tried to go that same like big budget action blockbuster. I think when they dial everything back and take it at its most minimal form, this is where this shines. Invisible Man, I thought this movie was incredible. It was really well done, really enjoyable. It wasn't like terrifying or really even scary. It was more just like, oh, this is a cool concept and like way to go about it. It does get a little bit outlandish at times with the story. You're like, I don't think that would work that way. But like, I'll swallow the pill and take this joyride basically, and it's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like all the metaphors that are there with toxic masculinity. I think that was really well done, and like basically what's been going on in Hollywood with like Harvey Weinstein type characters, and you got this guy that's a really abusive tech industry leader in the optics industry.
Yeah.
And he has this suit that can kind of like basically make you invisible because it's like covered in cameras and replicates exactly what every camera is seeing, like down to the very pixel, so that he's like invisible essentially.
Yeah, that was I didn't expect that. I haven't seen the original in a long time. I do remember it was actually one of the more comedic ones, but I remember I think it's like a serum he takes. And I liked the little ode to the original. I mean, I don't know if anyone picked up on it. It's an obvious ode, but like when she's in the hospital for the first time, she sees that person wrapped up in bandages, and that's the Invisible Man that we all know from the original 30s film. Just like, he's literally invisible and has to walk around naked, which I always found bizarre. He's walking through the snow. How does he not get frostbite and stuff? Because that movie takes place like during the winter. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And this like is a lot more like makes more sense and definitely a more modern twist on it, where it's not realistic essentially, but this is as realistic as it could be. It never felt like, oh, this is impossible. It like actually did feel like, oh, like I could see how this worked out.
So I mean, I feel like if you're to take a chance with this movie, at least, especially nowadays, like I feel like there wasn't that many good movies in the theater at the time. You can't go to the theater anymore.
Right.
Like this is now on VOD. Talking about the situation that's going on right now, this is now on VOD. I think that's gonna hurt like the overall earnings that this movie makes, or this might actually help it because it was out 2 to 3 weeks
This
before.
luckily actually was a success. Before we saw this movie literally 3 days before the movie theater shut down, so we saw it like just in time. But yeah, I think actually it going to video on demand like now that it is officially available, like what's it called? I think it's actually going to help its sales just because it did dip in its third week. The first and second week first week did incredible for such a small budget, and like
I feel like it might have this surge like. What's the Snowpiercer that did really well on video on demand. This is that first movie. It's already on video on demand. That's from the theater. Like people that didn't catch it 3 weeks ago are going to be like, oh, I'm so bored here. I'm in quarantine. I'm self-isolating. What am I going to, let's check out Invisible Man for $20.
And actually I can see it actually developing a pretty big cult audience because it's a scary movie to watch at home. This is a movie where like if you watch by yourself in the dark, you will kind of get creeped out thinking someone's in there with you. These are the movies where they don't feel scary, but when you think about it a little, like if I was 13, 14 years old seeing this for the first time, I'd be horrified.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think it could make it a fun watch, like especially like you're saying at home, and this might help it out. But do you see Universal, maybe trying this with some of the things that didn't work out, like the Wolfman or Dracula, like taking them and giving them a modern day twist and building this dark universe still, or is this just a one-off?
I definitely see them continuing with it. I don't know where you go next with it. I know that like it's left open for a sequel with this one. I mean, apparently there's already rumors of Elizabeth Banks directing The Invisible Woman, which is an original Universal monster movie as well. I never saw that one though, but not like I guess you could bring back Elizabeth Moss for that. She does have this suit. Like spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. Sorry, I'm saying it after I just spoiled it, but yeah, so where do you go though? Dracula, we just saw a Dracula movie, we just saw a Mummy movie, and Benicio del Toro's Wolfman. I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but I think if you watch the unrated version, that's like 2 hours long versus the 80-minute theatrical version, it's a huge difference. It's a really fun, gory B horror film. I'd say. So I recommend that one, but that one's still relatively new, I feel like. So. I think the way to go is Creature from the Black Lagoon. Nobody really knows about that movie all that much.
Shape of Water just came out though. That could, throw a wrench in that because it's kind of the same movie.
Totally forgot about that. Good point.
I don't know. I feel like I think they need to really twist everything and make it super modern, super minimal. All right, at the core, what is this movie about? What is this monster? What makes this monster, scary at the time? But if we were to change that and bring it into modern day times, what could make that scary? And what is going on in society right now where we could, twist this movie into being about that? I think
and
that would
don't
be the
connect
easiest
it
way.
Too. And this movie literally just got announced like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I mean, if you watch it, it's easy to tell that it was only probably a few weeks shoot. And Lee Winnell's known for doing that. Like, I mean, I can't believe how successful this guy's been. It's well deserved. I mean, I love the first Saw movie. Insidious is okay. I don't mind the first one. Went on to do Conjuring. great upgrade. I think I love him now better now that he's not working with James Wan. Nothing against James Wan, but I think just Leigh Whannell has always been the voice that like everyone forgot about because he's always the screenwriter.
Yeah.
But now that he's doing his own stuff, like I love what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I have to say, if you haven't checked this out and you're in quarantine now, definitely go rent it because it was a lot of fun in the theater, but I feel like it might have this other experience watching it at home, knowing you can't leave your house. You can't run if something's going on.
Yeah. Date horror film night. This is the movie to start with, I'd say.
Definitely. So that's going to wrap up this week's show, guys. I say go check out Invisible Man. It is available on all video on demand services. And if you want to support the show, go check it out there. Rent it on Amazon. Use our Amazon affiliate link in the description box below.
After doing that, leave us a comment and let us know what you thought about the movie. Let us know what you thought about our thoughts on The Invisible Man as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Drive-By Movies and hit that notification bell to get all our latest updates.
That's it for fresh releases this week. Tune in for a brand new video next week.